Give your attendance. Give your attendance. Dash is produced during combustion of substances. Light, heat, both light and heat, none of these. Gas is produced during combustion of substances. Light, heat, both light and heat, none of these. Gas is produced during combustion of substances. Both light and heat is produced. Combustion is a chemical process or chemical reaction in which a substance reacts with oxygen to form. Very good, room. Which of the following is non-flammable substance? Which of the following is non-flammable substance? Carbon dioxide, methane, carbon dioxide, methane. Which of the following is non-flammable substance? Carbon dioxide, methane. There are two options, carbon dioxide and methane. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is non-flammable substance. In which part of a candle flame there is blue zone? In which part of a candle flame there is blue zone? Below the wick, above and around the wick, in the top of a flame, nowhere. Outer zone. Okay. These are called combustible substances which catch fire, easily, which catch fire with difficulty, sometimes catch fire and sometimes do not catch fire. Do not catch fire at all. Which option is correct? Saroj Samuel. Okay. These are called combustible substance which catch fire with difficulty, which easily catch fire, sometimes catch fire and sometimes do not catch fire at all. Which option is correct? Which easily catch fire, Amrutansh, very good. The necessary condition for combustion are dash: fuel and air, fuel, air and heat, fuel and heat, air and heat. The necessary conditions for combustion are dash: fuel and air, fuel, air and heat, fuel and heat, air and heat. fuel, air and heat. Fuel, air and heat. Okay. The dark zone of a candle flame is dash. The dark zone of a candle flame is dash. Outer zone of a complete combustion, zone of a partial combustion, inner zone, none of these. The dark zone of a candle flame is dash. Outer zone of a complete combustion, zone of a partial combustion, inner zone, none of these. Which option? A, B, C, D? Inner zone, very good. The amount of heat is produced due to complete combustion of 1 kilogram of fuel is dash. Option A, calorific value, ignition temperature, capacity of fuel. A, B, C option. The amount of heat produced due to the complete combustion of 1 kilogram of fuel. Calorific value, A option, B, ignition temperature, C, capacity of fuel. Option A, calorific value. Very good, Tarun. The renewable source of energy is dash. The renewable source of energy is petroleum, coal, tidal energy, natural gas. The renewable source of energy is dash. Petroleum, coal, tidal energy and natural gas. Renewable source of energy is tidal energy. Next, dash is the supporter of combustion. Dash is the supporter of combustion. Oxygen gas, LPG, nitrogen gas, carbon dioxide. Dash is the supporter of combustion. Oxygen, nitrogen, oxygen. Very good. Next question. Area where animals are protected from any disturbance to them and their habitat are called dash. Areas where animals are protected from any disturbance to them and their habitat are called dash. National Park, Biosphere Reserve, only option name. Option A, National Park, B, Biosphere Reserve, C, Sanctuary, none of these. D, none of these. Areas where animals are protected from any disturbance to them and their habitat are called dash. A option, National Park, B, Biosphere Reserve, C, Sanctuary, D, none of these. Amrutangshu. Tarun, you are wrong. Correct answer is Sanctuary, option C. Usually migrate. C option correct, Amrutangshu. Sanctuary. Why do animals usually migrate? For nutrition, for respiration, for excretion, for reproduction. Why do animals usually migrate? For nutrition, for respiration, for excretion, for reproduction. Which option is correct? D option, for reproduction. Dash is the first reserve forest of India. Dash is the first reserve forest of India. Nilagiri, Nanda Devi, Satpura, Meghalaya. Dash is the first reserve forest of India. Nilagiri, Nanda Devi, Satpura, Meghalaya. Satpura, very good. Next question. If two forces in opposite direction act on an object, then the resultant force is dash. If two forces in opposite direction act on an object, then the resultant force is dash, equal to the sum of the two forces, equal to difference of two forces, equal to sum of the squares of two forces, equal to product of two forces. Which option is correct? If two forces in opposite direction act on an object, then the resultant force is dash, equal to the sum of the two forces, equal to difference of two forces, equal to sum of the squares of two forces, equal to the product of two forces. Option B, equal to difference of two forces. Very good. In digestive process, the food is pushed forward in the food pipe by dash, force of friction, muscular force, non-contact force, none of these. In digestive process, food is pushed forward in the food pipe by dash. Amrutansh, you are wrong. Product of two forces, you are wrong. Difference of two forces. Next question, in digestive process, the food is pushed forward in the food pipe by force of friction, muscular force, non-contact force, none of these. Muscular force. The ball rolling on the floor gradually slows down and ultimately stops. It is due to dash. The ball rolling on the floor gradually slows down and ultimately stops. It is due to muscular force, frictional force, magnetic force, none of these. Frictional force. Very good, Tarun. The force of friction always acts on the moving object is dash. The force of friction always acts on the moving object in dash, in the direction of motion, in a direction opposite to the direction of motion, a direction perpendicular to the direction of motion, a direction perpendicularly downward to the direction of motion. Option B, a direction opposite to the direction of motion. The coolies, while lifting heavy luggage, keep a wound round cloth on their heads to dash, to increase the force, to increase the pressure, to reduce the load, to reduce the pressure. Which option is correct? The coolies, while lifting heavy luggage, keep a wound round cloth on his head, leads to increase the force, increase the pressure, reduce the load, reduce the pressure. Option D, reduce the pressure. Why reduce the pressure? By wounding round cloth, it increases the surface area. If surface area increases, then the pressure also decreases. Strike a nail on its head to drive into a piece of wood. You will not be able to drive it. The reason for this, force is less, pressure is less, the piece of wood is hard, none of these. If you strike a nail on its head to drive it, the surface area is more, so the pressure will be less, so that it will not be able to drive. The pressure exerted by liquids due to increase in depth reduces, remains same, increase, depends upon the nature of the liquid. the pressure exerted by liquids due to the increase in depth reduces, remains same, increases. Ajay Tirth.